All right, media officer of the Super Eagles, Promise Foge joins us live now from Uyo to give us updates vis-a-vis the happenings in camp. Promise, very pleased to have you with us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me on the show today, Kichiko.
All right, we're here is a full house now. Quite a number of arrivals today. Victor Seaman, Aroko Dare, Chukwueze and co. How does this make the coach feel ahead of Saturday? That has got a full complement, full complement of the players to work with.
Well, I'm not the coach, but I as the media manager, I feel happy that the coach would have a complement of all the players he's invited for this assignment as early as the second day of training. You know, the team had their first training session yesterday, Tuesday. Monday was for, the players to arrive. We had 16 players in training yesterday, and today we're having all 23. And so what this does is it helps planning. It helps the coach begin his strategies for the crucial games early enough. And as a matter of fact, considering the importance of these matches, if these players had a choice, they would have been in camp by Sunday or Monday. But of course, we know most of the late arrivals, was as a result of them being able, them signing deals just before the close of the transfer window. And so the players were allowed to do all of these, dot the I's and cross the T's for their club sides before coming down to Nigeria. And we also know how Herculean it can be sometimes when you're traveling from Europe down to Africa. But the most important thing is everyone is in camp right now and in session this evening.
All right, Promise, the Amavubi, they have shown that they can beat the Super Eagles. Remember full well in November 2024 during an AFCON qualifier. They beat Eagles 2-1 here. And so that means that they have demonstrated that, yes, they can do it even here in our own backyard. How prepared mentally are the players so as they do not underrate Rwanda?
After Rwanda won here in Uyo 2-1 against the Super Eagles, the Eagles went to Rwanda to beat Rwanda 2-0. And also let me remind you that when Rwanda defeated the Eagles 2-1, that was in the AFCON qualifiers. And at that time, the Eagles had already qualified for the AFCON with 2 games to spare. The Eagles qualified after drawing 1-1 with Benin Republic in Abidjan. And so even before the draw against the Benin Republic, the Eagles had qualified with 10 points from that group. And so the draw against Benin Republic was just an icing on the cake. And so when they came to Uyo to play the very last game, Coach Austin Eguavon at that time rested the first team players. He practically played his bench, against Rwanda. And at that point, the team had qualified. And so perhaps for them, there was really nothing to play for. And Rwanda's 2-1 win in Uyo was inconsequential because Rwanda would not qualify for the AFCON. Despite the win, it was Benin Republic that qualified as second in the group behind Nigeria. But this is a different ball game entirely. Like I said earlier, in the aftermath of that 2-1 loss to Rwanda, the Super Eagles went to Kigali to beat Rwanda 2-0 in the World Cup qualifiers. This is the World Cup qualifiers. The Eagles know that they have their backs against the wall. This is just a bend, but not the end. They know a World Cup ticket is still very possible, and they are mentally ready to go all the way and get these wins to ensure that Nigeria's World Cup hopes is back on track.
All right, Promise, I do hope that the players take it as a different ball game in your words, but it must be very, very fresh in their mind that, of course, the Super Eagles last played in the World Cups in 2018. How seriously do you think that they are taking this encounter to ensure that we do not, end up the way we did in 2022, Promise?
Since Nigeria started qualifying for the World Cup back in 1994, Nigeria hasn't missed 2 World Cups back to back. It's never happened. We qualified for the 1994 World Cup. We qualified for the 1998 World Cup in France. We qualified for the 2002 World Cup in Korea, Japan, and then missed the Germany 2006 World Cup. The Eagles came back for the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, qualified for the World Cup in Brazil 2014. They were at the World Cup in Russia 2018, missed the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. As I said, it's never happened for Nigeria to miss two World Cups back to back. The players know this. They do not want a bad record to start with them. Most importantly, about 90% of this current team have not tasted World Cup action. And World Cup is every 4 years. After the 2026 World Cup, the next will be 2030. And the majority of them right now would not be in the team at that time. So this is a chance for many of them in the team right now. This is the final chance to be at the World Cup. So you can imagine the desperation, the desperation to ensure that the wrongs are put right. With 4 games to go, they know that it is very possible to right those wrongs and get a World Cup ticket. The players are very, very, very desperate to pick a World Cup ticket. And with that mentality, with that aggression, we are hoping to get the right results against Rwanda first and then against South Africa on the 9th.
Okay, Promise. Well, I do hope that you were able to remind the players, these records that you reeled out now. well, what will be, you just tell us, what will be the training regimen of the team ahead of the Saturday game?
All right. First training session yesterday, another today. The coaches are not looking to overstretch the players before the game against Rwanda. The season in Europe is on. They've been playing for their clubs. They are not match rusty. Every player that has been invited have tasted a club action, whether it be the goalkeeper, whether defender, midfielder, or striker. They've all tasted league action for their clubs in England, across Europe, in Asia, wherever they are playing. And so they are all match fit. They are all match fit. All the coaches need to do is to get them to play just the way Coach Eric Shell wants them to play, specifically for the game against Rwanda and then the game against South Africa. So it is one training per day prior to the match on Saturday.
Professor Foge, media officer of the Super Eagles, many thanks indeed for talking to us about the preparations.
Thank you so much.